AITA for holding my stepsister's mother's ashes until she returns my dog to me. Throwaway because this whole drama is stupid. I am ashamed of it. I 20 female was temporarily living with my mother, stepfather and stepsister 14. Me and stepsister were never close. She hates me and my mother, thinking that my mother stole her father away after her own mother passed. It has been that way for 4 years already, and while she is in slightly better terms with my mother, she still constantly tries to disturb me because I am not as tolerant as my mother. As for my stepfather, he is quite okay, but he would pretend to ignore me in front of my stepsister sometimes, because she would throw a fuss about it. I was supposed to move to a rather far place to work and study. My father arranged for me to move in after renovations are done, bringing my dog with me. When I first brought my dog to my mother's a few months ago, my stepsister seemingly fell in love with him. At first it was just me taking care of him. Then we took turns taking him out. For a while I even thought that we could have gotten along better because we both loved the dog. And one day my sister returned without my dog and announced that she had given him away, just to spite me. She got what she wanted, and no matter how nicely or nastily I asked her, she wouldn't tell me where she took him. I complained it to my mother and stepfather, but they couldn't get her to talk either. She had this attitude of try me whenever she gets stubborn. I was to move in 2 days, and I guess she wanted to keep my dog for herself or make me miss my cross-country train. I know it is despicable, but I was worried for my pup and whatever she could have done with him. I sneaked into her room when she was not looking and took her mother's ash urn. I know this was precious to her, precious enough to be used to make her talk. I hid the urn somewhere she would never find. Sure enough, my stepsister lost it completely when she realized what I did, and similarly I'd never talk no matter what my mother or stepfather say. After all those screaming and crying, she finally gave in and admitted that she brought him to her friends. After taking the trip and passing my dog back to me, she demanded to have the urn back, but I did not tell her until my day of departure, in case she wanted to pull some sick prank again. Everybody I know of, including my own father, thinks that I took it too far. While in the end nothing really bad happened, I did it in the worst way possible, quoted by my mother, who did nothing to help either. It was my stepsister who started it. She knew how important my pup is to me and she tried to take him away from me, so I used similar way to make her return him, and it worked. I didn't do it out of spite, just making use of what I could to get my dog back. So in this case, AITA. Story 2. AITA for telling my sister that she deserved to get a divorce. I 15 male live with my parents in a cramped apartment. They try their best to keep us afloat. And it's not a bad apartment, so I can't be mad about it. However, things got pretty bad when my 31 female sister moved in after her divorce. We've never gotten along well because of the age gap. But ever since the divorce, things are even worse. She goes out at parties all night and then comes back home and sleeps all day. She practically makes our mother do everything, including caring for her. My mom has to do all of my sister's laundry, all of her dishes, and drive her to and fro places. My mom is a very sweet, quiet, soft-spoken person who gets frazzled very easily, and if she does something wrong, my sister will go off on her and make her cry. When my dad comes home from work, my sister will come out of her hiding hole and demand that he do stuff like go get her Starbucks or some new clothing accessory at the mall. Dumb shit like that always gets done because my parents will do anything for us, which is fine up until it reaches that limit. My sister doesn't work, so she mooches money off of everybody, including me. I have tried to get my parents to stop it, but they say that there's little that they can do because she's an adult and they want her to be happy. They do give me money in return, but that's not the point I'm trying to make, and have just stopped bringing it up because we're not in a good enough financial situation for that. When my sister moved in, my parents wanted her to have privacy, so they asked me to sleep on the couch. Okay, fine. I've started sleeping on the couch, but then my sister started complaining about the freaking decorations that were in there and made my parents and I move everything so she could make the room into her own. My sister has also started smoking in the apartment unit, even though that's against the rules and could get us kicked out, pouring water on the cat like a freaking psychopath, and bullying me about the most innocuous shit. I finally lost it yesterday night and yelled at my sister that she deserved to get a divorce, and that I don't blame her husband for treading wood, although he should have done it a long time ago. My sister, predictably, pitched a fit, and my parents blamed me, even though she's been the one terrorizing us for the past month. AITA. Because these freaks certainly think I am. Story 3. AITA for calling my sister a failure in life and asking her to take care of herself. So I 23 female have a lot of siblings. My dad got married 5 times and has divorced 4 times, has 12 children in total, probably more that he does not even know about. I know it sounds so hard to believe, but we come from a culture where you are asked to have a lot of kids and are even praised for it. I don't maintain contact with most of them, only my half-sister and brother. Recently, as in 2 months ago, I got a call from my oldest half-sister 41 female, let's call her Nadine. Nadine said she was stranded in the city I live in after a Tinder date gone wrong. She had met someone online and traveled here to meet them and got catfished. She got robbed and needed some place to stay, so I gladly took her in. In my life, I've only met Nadine a bunch of times. The age gap is too big for us to actually have anything to bond over. She asked if she could stay with me for a while as my roommate, and I told her she can if she pays rent and does some chores, and she agreed. In the time she has been living with me, she has been making comments about how I earn my money. I earn a good amount. I managed to buy a shabby house with it. It may be messy, but a home is a home. I earned through an online adult site and some other ventures, and Nadine found it despicable. A week in, she began trying to talk me out of it. She said I was making a mistake, going against God, yada yada. I said I didn't need her input on it and that if she has a problem with it she can leave. She kept pressing me about it and I've been ignoring it until today when she asked me to come speak to her. She said that as my older sister, she was going to make sure I stop doing the CNFUL things and choose a more proper path, and that she will inform my parents about how I am earning money. They think I have a desk job. I told her she is full of it, that it is my business. She has no right over me. Well, she called up my parents and told them, and I am pissed. My parents have threatened to disown me and I honestly can't understand what she expected to gain from it. So I told her she has 2 days to pack up and leave, and she said I was becoming a pathetic loser and some other stuff. I found that hilarious since she was 41 with no spouse, no home of her own. She couch surfs her way through life and hasn't held a good job for more than 6 months. She literally got catfished and robbed and had to move into my home as she had nowhere to go. I called her a failure at life, that she has nothing to her name, no one who is even willing to take her in anymore because she has lived over 40 years without a plan or goal. That she should take care of herself and make something of herself before she can lecture me about her archaic opinions. She cried about it and I ignored her and made myself dinner. Well, she said she will move out, and my parents are still pissed at me but can't really do anything to me. I feel bad about what I said, but I also feel it's justified. AITA.